Harry's mop slapped against the observation deck floor in rhythmic strokes, the antiseptic solution leaving streaks that gleamed under the bioluminescent panels. Station hummed around him, a skeletal structure of titanium and carbon nanotubes suspended in the habitable zone of a distant star. He'd worked this shift for 3 years now, ever since the custody arrangement went south, and he needed work that kept him close to his daughter Elsa. "Dad, they're starring again," Elsa whispered from where she sat cross-legged near the viewport, her tablet reflecting in the reinforced silica glass. Harry glanced up. 2 Janitor juveniles observed them from behind a translucent barrier, their carapaces shifting through bioluminescent patterns of curiosity. The aliens resembled nothing so much as upright mantises, though their neural structures, as Harry had learned from mandatory orientation, operated on quantum coherence rather than electrochemical impulses. It made them nearly impossible to predict. "They're just kids, Els, like you." Harry wrung out his mop, checking his chronometer. 2200 hours. The diplomatic wing should have been empty by now. "Kids with exoskeletons and 4 arms," Elsa muttered, but she waved at them anyway. The Janitor juveniles' antennae vibrated, laughter perhaps, or alarm. The xenolinguistic database was still incomplete. The door to the diplomatic chamber hissed open with a pressurized gasp. Harry tensed, expecting Security Chief Morrison to bark at him for letting Elsa tag along after hours again. Instead, Ambassador Yoon stumbled out, her usually immaculate suit wrinkled, face pale. "Mr. Chen," she said, her voice tight, "I need you to watch them." Harry blinked. "Watch who?" "The Empress's daughters." Yoon gestured frantically toward the 2 Janitor juveniles. "There's been an incident. Quantum communication array detected a distortion in the Empress's trajectory. She's arriving early, in 40 minutes instead of 4 hours. Protocol demands I prepare the greeting ceremony, but the juvenile's guardian drone malfunctioned and—" "You want me to babysit aliens?" Harry's grip tightened on the mop handle. "You're the only human here they've shown interest in observing. Please, interstellar war versus childcare. I'm begging you." Before Harry could protest, Yoon slapped her palm against the barrier control. The translucent wall dissolved into a mist of suspended graphene particles. The 2 Janitor juveniles tilted their triangular heads, compound eyes fracturing Harry's image into 1,000 nervous reflections. "Don't let them access any quantum communication devices. Don't let them near the fusion reactors. And for God's sake, don't feed them anything." Yoon was already running toward the command center, her shoes clicking against the deck plates. Harry stood frozen, mop in hand, as the 2 alien princesses approached. They moved with an unsettling grace, their movements governed by muscle fibers that contracted through piezoelectric pulses rather than standard motor neurons. "Hi," Elsa said, standing up slowly. "I'm Elsa. This is my dad, Harry." The larger juvenile extended one of her 4 arms. On her thorax, a translation device flickered to life, projecting symbols in the air that Harry's neural implants struggled to parse. After a moment, words formed in his mind. Query. Designation Dad indicates genetic progenitor and primary caregiver unit. "Yes," Harry said carefully, "I take care of her." The smaller juvenile's bioluminescence pulsed rapidly, excitement, the xenolinguistic database suggested. Her translator activated. Observation. Mammalian species demonstrate parental investment disproportionate to genetic propagation efficiency. Fascinating inefficiency. "We prefer to call it love," Elsa said dryly. Harry couldn't help but smile. His daughter had inherited her mother's sharp wit, even if she'd inherited his stubbornness. For the next 15 minutes, an awkward détente settled over the observation deck. The Janitor juveniles explored the space with methodical precision, their antennae sampling chemical compositions in the air, their compound eyes analyzing light wavelengths invisible to human perception. Elsa showed them her tablet, running a simulation of Earth's ocean currents. The alien seemed mesmerized. Then the smaller juvenile reached toward a control panel. "No," Harry lunged forward, grabbing her arm, or trying to. His hand passed through a localized gravity distortion field that surrounded her exoskeleton. He stumbled, catching himself on the wall. The juvenile withdrew her arm, bioluminescence dimming to a contrite amber. Apology, curiosity regarding atmospheric regulation controls. "That panel controls the observation deck's emergency bulkhead," Harry explained, his heart hammering. "If you'd activated it, we'd have been sealed in here for 12 hours. The larger juvenile's translator flickered. Query: why design systems with such catastrophic failure modes accessible to unsupervised juveniles? "Because we usually don't let unsupervised juveniles near them," Harry said pointedly. Elsa laughed. "They've got you there, Dad." Time crawled forward. Harry tried to make small talk, though conversing with beings whose cognition operated on quantum superposition made normal conversation surreal. The juveniles asked questions that ranged from profound: "Does consciousness persist beyond biological termination in your species?" to mundane: "Why do you leak saline solution from your optical sensors when experiencing sadness?" Elsa handled it better than Harry did, answering with the unfiltered honesty only a 12-year-old could muster. "Yes, we cry when we're sad. No, we don't know what happens after death. Yes, divorce is confusing and painful." The larger juvenile moved closer to Elsa, her bioluminescence shifting to a soft azure. Statement: "Your species' emotional complexity exceeds our initial projections. Perhaps inefficiency serves adaptive function." "Perhaps," Elsa agreed. At precisely 2338 hours, every alarm on station shrieked to life. Harry grabbed Elsa, pulling her close as the deck plates vibrated. Through the viewport, space itself seemed to tear, a wound in reality bordered by hawking radiation as a Janitor dreadnought emerged from an artificial wormhole. The ship defied human engineering principles. Its hull existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, folding space around itself like origami. Gravity waves rippled outward, sending station-keeping thrusters into overdrive. "She's here," the smaller juvenile said, her translator's tone somehow conveying both excitement and dread. The dreadnought extended a boarding tendril, a tube of exotic matter that phased through the station's hull without breaching it. Moments later, the observation deck doors opened. The Empress Janitor filled the doorway. She stood 3 meters tall, her exoskeleton decorated with quantum-etched patterns that hurt to look at directly. Her compound eyes held an intelligence that made Harry feel like a bacterium under a microscope. Behind her, 6 Guardian drones hovered, their weapons systems powered down but ready. The 2 juveniles prostrated themselves immediately, their bioluminescence extinguished in deference. Harry pushed Elsa behind him, straightened his spine, and met the Empress's gaze. For 5 seconds, nothing happened. Then the Empress's translator activated, her words appearing in Harry's mind with crushing weight. "You are the genetic progenitor unit assigned to guard my offspring." "No, Your Majesty. I'm the janitor who got stuck babysitting because your Guardian drone broke and the ambassador panicked." Elsa elbowed him. "Dad." The Empress's antennae twitched. Her bioluminescence flickered through a rapid sequence of colors Harry's implant couldn't translate. Then, impossibly, she made a sound, a chittering that the translator rendered as laughter. Honesty, how refreshing. The Empress moved forward, her movements precise despite her size. She lowered her head toward her daughters, antennae touching theirs in what Harry recognized as affection. Were they satisfactory in behavior? "They tried to open the emergency bulkhead and asked my daughter existential questions about mortality," Harry said. "But yeah, they were fine. Good kids." The larger juvenile's translator activated. "Mother, the human male demonstrated protective behavior toward both his genetic offspring and ourselves. Inefficient, but admirable. The Empress regarded Harry with new interest. You risked yourself for non-kin entities. They're just kids, Harry said simply. Doesn't matter what species. The Empress's bioluminescence shifted to a deep violet. Respect. Harry's implant finally translated. She reached into a dimensional fold in her carapace and withdrew a small crystalline object. It pulsed with inner light. A gift for services rendered. She placed it in Harry's hand. This quantum crystal contains knowledge, our methods for maintaining family cohesion across vast distances. Perhaps it will help with your custody arrangements. Harry stared at the crystal, feeling its warmth against his palm. Thank you. The Empress gathered her daughters, the guardian drones forming a protective sphere around them. As they moved toward the boarding tendril, the smaller juvenile looked back. Farewell, Elsa. Farewell, Harry the Janitor. You have taught us that inefficiency and love may be synonymous. When they were gone, Elsa hugged Harry tightly. That was terrifying. Yeah, Harry agreed, looking down at the quantum crystal. But maybe good things come from being in the wrong place at the right time. Outside the viewport, the Janitor dreadnought folded space around itself and vanished, leaving only hawking radiation and the faint scent of ozone in its wake. Harry picked up his mop. The observation deck still needed cleaning after all, but the crystal remained warm in his pocket, pulsing gently with alien wisdom and the promise of a father's hope. Some nights, he thought, were stranger than others, but all of them were worth living for her.